kind of an update on why we're delaying. We're waiting for everyone to be able to get a chance to get inside. There are a number of people who are still lined up to get through security to get into the auditorium, so we're going to delay the start of the council meeting until everyone's had a fair chance to get inside and grab a seat. So just bear with us. Parker, if you would please take the roll.
Atchison.
Here.
Baker. Bird. DeCambra.
Here.
Garcia.
Here.
Pinter.
Here.
Sights.
Here.
Okay, let me try to see if I can explain what's going on, because I think many of you are here based on some bad information. If you are here because of a flyer indicating that the subject of trash hauling was on the agenda for tonight, it is not on the agenda. It never was on the agenda, and we don't know how they got the information wrong because it's posted on the website what our agenda is since Wednesday of last week. However, I don't want you to waste your time having come here for nothing. On the agenda, there's a place called citizen comment. Each individual is allowed up to 5 minutes time to talk about any item they want that concerns the city of Westminster. If you'd like to testify at that time, we need you to do a couple of things. Before you leave, if you haven't already, please see the city clerk and sign up on the speaking sheet so that we know who is here. Second, when you come forward, give us your name and your address, and you'll have up to 5 minutes. Now, the city clerk starts the timing as soon as you give us your name and your address. On the dais in front of you, a little green light will come on saying you're on the timer. When you have 1 minute left, it'll turn yellow. When your 5 minutes is up, it'll turn red. So We will not be discussing that as a council item tonight, but if you'd like to stick around and talk at the citizen comment period about your thoughts on the subject, we are more than welcome to have you do that, and it will be on the public record. It will be advertised on the website that the city puts out the agenda when this item does come up. And I will tell you right now, it's not scheduled this month at all. We've already seen the agendas for the rest of the month. I apologize that you got bad information, but it had nothing to do with any information being given out by the city. And I am sorry if you came here under pretense that you were going to be testifying on something that we were going to be discussing. So I hope that will help some of you. If that is not what you want to do, you're welcome to wait till we do get to a public hearing on this at some time in the future, which will be advertised, and then you can come back. So I will leave that up to your discretion when we get to that point. Yes, ma'am, I'll try to answer your question. If you signed in for tonight, you do not sign in again tonight, but you would sign in on the night you can come back if you do not stay tonight. That's a record of who was here and who was not here on any given night. Any other questions I can try to answer before we start? Yes, sir. Not by the council, no. Because this is not even, we have not even received the information from the study that's being done, so we don't even know what's in it yet. In the citizen comment period, you have up to 5 minutes, and you can put that on the record tonight. Yes. I'm trying not to make you have to come back again if you don't want to come back, but a lot of people were given information that thought that this item was being discussed by the council tonight. It never was scheduled for tonight. We don't even know yet a date for certain when it will be scheduled. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's why we would let you stay here and put it on the record. So it's up to you. I don't want to waste your time. If you want to come back at the night that we're actually discussing it, please stay. If you would rather do it tonight, it's really up to you. I just wanted to make sure you understood that it never was scheduled for tonight. And I don't know where they got the information, because if they'd looked at the agenda on the website, they would have seen it's not. So whoever put it out, put out some bad information. Yes, sir. Well, that's why we're finding out why you're here. We have a suspicion, but we didn't know for sure, because we still have other items that's going to be here tonight and other business. But based upon the conversation I overheard out in the atrium just before we started, that's why I waited, because I still had people in the line that I don't know if they wanted to talk tonight or not. But I'm trying to make it as comfortable as you can and to deal with a situation that we did not create, but we're trying to help you. You'll still have 5 minutes, yeah. It's on any subject you want on the citizen comment. It doesn't have to necessarily be the trash piece. That comment is open to anything you want to talk about. Okay? All right, yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're all part of an official record. So everything that comes on tonight that's dealing with that subject will carry over to the time that we have the actual hearing. So you don't have to come back if you don't want to. But look, I'm welcome you coming back. It helps fill up the room. And I know the kids in the back are going to appreciate staying too. All right, but again, if you desire to speak, please do see the city clerk before you leave, so we have a record of who was here and who was speaking. So if we need to get in contact with you for any reason afterwards, we have a way to get back in touch with you. So please don't leave without signing in if you're going to speak. Otherwise, we're just going to go through a normal council hearing, and we'll get to you in just a few minutes. So please bear with us. All right. Next item up, consideration of the minutes. If there's a motion by the council for the minutes of December the 19th. Mr. Baker.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that, the city council approve, the minutes of the December 19th, 2016 meeting as they are presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Hang on just a second. Michelle, did they move this to a touchscreen? Yeah, I know. trying to make this thing work. Okay. Go. Got it? Okay. All right, we have a 7-0 vote approving the minutes. Okay, next item on the agenda will be citizen communication. This is the time if you wish to come in and talk to us about anything you have on your mind. You have up to 5 minutes. Again, if you come forward, please identify yourself with your name and your address. Pull the mic down so you speak directly into the microphone. And at this point, it's first come, first served. Who would like to come up? Please, sir, come on up.
My name is George Habercorn. I live at 3311 West 92nd Place, Colorado. And I'm here to speak on the city's possibility of going to a single trash collector.
Mhm.
The biggest thing I have to say is that the only vote I have with how my trash is handled, how my trash cans are handled, how my property is left after they leave, how the street is left after they leave, is to be able to call them up and say, hey, cancel my service. You destroyed my trash can, going down the street. There's a mess all over the place. I go to another trash hauler. Take that right away from me and put in one single hauler. And don't tell me that I'm going to be able to complain and get any reaction. I can when I take my dollars and go to a different trash hauler and say, this is what I want. Right now, the people in my neighborhood, most of us have one trash hauler. We all like it. In the past, I've been aware of neighborhoods not in Westminster where they all chose the same trash hauler. That cuts down. You can get blocks to get together and say, yeah, we only want so-and-so picking up the trash on this block. Cuts down. You don't have 3 trucks driving up and down. So I'll save the rest of these for the next time. Thank you.
All right, sir, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Please give us your name, though. for the
I'm
record.
sorry. I'm Pat Wales. I also live at 3311 West 92nd. And I just wanted to say, I think that competition is essential, as he has pointed out. That is the way that we get good service. And we have been getting good service, and we've been getting it economically. I think that having the government manage adds another layer of administrative costs that would not be particularly beneficial to the bottom line, especially for those of us who don't have, who are on a pension or whatever. And finally, I know that there's been a lot of discussion about recycling. I know that that's a concern. I personally find it no problem at all to take my stuff to the recycle centers in the course of ordinary running errands. They're convenient. There's one in Broomfield, there's one in Northglenn, there's a couple that Westminster has. So I don't see that as adding congestion or wear and tear on the roads or any other difficulties. And I don't see a need for us to have to pay extra for recycling. I think it's very easy and convenient. If you want to pay for it, fine. If not, I don't think it's an undue burden on the city to have us recycle our trash.
Thank you, ma'am.
Happy New Year. My name is Brian Head. I'm the chairman of the board of directors of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. My address is 9035 Parkway, Suite 1450, Westminster, Colorado, 80021. Just here to make a couple of quick announcements to you all. You may have seen the announcement, but we have hired a new chamber president. This comes after a 2-month-long nationwide search. We hired Juliet Abdel from the Stillwater Chamber of Commerce in Oklahoma. She's most recently worked with the Oklahoma Trucking Association, so she's familiar with transportation issues and some of the things that the Front Range is facing right now. So we are really excited to have her. Her first day will be January 27th, our strategic planning meeting. We will be having a meet and greet first week of February. I'll send invitations to you all as well. We also want to extend the invitation if you'd like to meet as a council or Don, your team in the city manager's office with her to just kind of become familiar and find ways that we can all work together. We're more than happy to facilitate that. Like I said, she's in the process of moving, so if that's of interest, let me know. I believe you should have my email. Dot Miller, our interim president, will stay on with the chamber. Her company, The Solution, specializes in association management, so she'll help us with those issues as we move on into the future. We also are really excited to announce that 2017 will feature a new program from the chamber. It's a sustainability program. We're proud to announce Republic Services as our official sustainability partner. So we're really excited as a chamber whenever we have the opportunity to bring a large corporate partner that really wants to get engaged and make a difference in the local community. So Republic has stepped up to do that. We're going to be able to bring some of the same sustainability programs that large businesses have down to the smaller businesses. Be able to collaborate and have education and common sense solutions for your every business owner. So we're excited about those two announcements. Any questions, you're welcome to contact me by phone or email. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jason Muniz, 7571 Xavier Street, Westminster. Came to address the trash. I was misinformed, whatever. All right, so people come to the United States, be offered the many freedoms. In this case, it's freedom of choice. It's that choice that's enabled me to pay a lower rate on my trash, get superior service to some of these bigger companies, which I've had, probably some of the ones considered for the monopoly or whatever. But more important thing is I have a small trash company that comes and picks up. When I see that name on the side of that truck, it reminds me of the land of opportunity, all the opportunities we've been afforded. And if you guys crush that opportunity for that small business, you're unweaving the fabric of society based on small businesses. So I would ask that you guys keep that in mind and keep that fabric alive, and want to say thank you for all your service.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Sir.
Marcus Kalmar, 9505 Teller Street. I would like to just first, there's the bad news and the good news. The good news is I will watch Westminster growing and looking what they are doing. One thing I have to give, a couple of things I have to give credit to the city council. One of them, they had a wise decision on animal control, which means if somebody has a creatures coming in, or like a raccoon, squirrel, they should take care of it, the owner. Not the city should take a burden and everybody would pay for it, which is might turn into other income issue for the city. Now, the bad news is about the trash collection. I feel sorry for the person before me. It's a small company. I think there are quite few Latino workers there. And I would hate to see those Latino workers would be out of job, especially a small business. On the issue, I read that in the newspaper that would be a sign up for the trash collectors. And what bothered me in the public notice, it doesn't mention anything else, just a trash service, wasting service, and the city, Westminster City. And I think there is an invisible man, which is a taxpayer. And I think that the decision should go to him first before they go to the basement server and the city council. What I mean is, for taxpayers, I would like to decide what kind of company I hire. That's a free choice. And I would like to handle my own money. That's a right to property, right to liberty, and no CR Colorado revised statutes could go against that. Very simple. That's one thing. And I don't like end up like with the healthcare. They say we have a health right to health. I don't. Why the government took it away? They tell me when I should have an operation, they handle it. I am I am not having a right to health. The government has my right to health. I don't want the city get in the situation looking like forcing people into the things what they don't want to do. How about getting to the election even more to have a free choice for each individual, and they would choose what they want to do freely without any hardship. I think it's basically that's it. Oh, by the way, as one of the founding fathers said, giving up, the liberty or whatever for the global issues or problem, the choice between controversial global problem and the liberty to choose and the property right, I think I would go with the property right and liberty to choose. And I hope you guys will do the same thing. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else tonight? Ma'am.
Lisa Bressler, 3862 West 99th Avenue. Hello, Mayor and council members. I understand you will be facing a difficult decision regarding the future of Westminster's waste collection. I urge you to look back at why this is being done. Westminster is underserved in the area of waste collection, and residents have been unhappy and are being taken advantage of. There's a vast inequality in our city. There are households paying 2, 3, and sometimes 4 times as much for the same service, which is not fair. Economics shows that by providing the same service at the same price for more people will result in lower costs for all your residents. Residents could possibly spend that extra money at a local business. Fear and anger are strong and important fundamental emotions. The past several presidential elections are perfect examples. For 8 years, people who spoke out could not say a kind word about President Obama or the changes that he proposed and implemented. Similarly, the past 2 months, the only people speaking out about the recent election are those who expect the worst. Again, fear and uncertainty are driving emotions. However, these emotions are easily preyed upon. Misinformation and lies cloud the facts. I ask you, how often do residents come forth during a public comment time to say how supportive they are? Typically, people who support issues do not voice their opinions because they believe that the truth speaks volumes. I hope that you will be able to take the time to fully understand the issues and the facts so that we are able to be the city that you envision. All I ask is that you take your time to understand all the facts after final bids are in and then make your decision. Please do not be influenced by those that are speaking out and potentially just afraid of change. The bids should show, as they historically have in other cities, that save as you throw or some faction of it is good for everyone. Thank you for your time.
Sir.
Sorry. Did you hear that? 5840 West 100. I don't have a prepared speech. I found this out rather quickly. We'll get a little bit more formalized. For now, I guess I would just ask that I'm pleading with you to consider this question. There are an awful lot of citizens like I who live in this charity group do not have the large bargaining power. I'm essentially, I can go ping pong from holler to holler, but I'm still at their mercy. Whereas if I had a collective organization, city, you can negotiate. You can get fair rates. You can save me a substantial sum, as well as my neighbors, many of them who are senior citizens on fixed income, single or 2 people living in a house, that's my wife and I, and we're spending a tremendous amount of money for trash hauling, for trash. I could pay per pound get rid of my trash. I have one grocery bag a week, and yet and my bills here, I'm paying $124. So I think that's outrageous. I need your help because I cannot. I need your help.
Evening. My name is Don Fittis. I live at 9933 Grove Place, Westminster. Appeal to you from an advantage and benefit point of view in regards to the trash issue. If we revise the existing program, we'll have less noise, which will mean, a better thing in my mind, less traffic, which means safer streets, less pollution, which means cleaner air, less wear and tear on our streets, which means less potholes and less expenses to the city. And from an aesthetic point of view, there'll be less cans on the street rather than having one day of trash pickup. We currently have, in some neighborhoods, 3 to 4. I've had the luxury of living in a community area which has an HOA for the last 30 years, and we've had trash and recycling at a very affordable price. I think those affordable prices should be brought to the community at large, and I'd like you to consider that going forward. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, come on down.
Stone, 9938 King Street, Westminster, Colorado, 80031. And I also am here to talk about the single hauler trash. I really appreciate your consideration, looking through all the bids and really thinking about increasing recycling in the city. That's my main concern with this. Also, my other concern is that the trash trucks, the amount of trash, the amount of road, the amount of times we're using the road. So I just really appreciate you guys looking over the bids carefully and taking that into consideration. And what we're really looking for is people to increase their recycling and also save money at the same time. So I'd appreciate it if you guys could really look that over and take that into consideration. And note that not all of us are able to drop our recycles off. We don't all have that ability to hop over and do that. So I think having the ability for all residents to recycle once a week, twice a month, would really help our city become more sustainable.
Anyone else? Sir. Okay.
I just want to voice my opinion on your.
Give us your name and address first,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry.
That's
My
okay.
name is Gene L. Behill, and I live at 6926 Wolf Street in Hidden Lake. Yeah, I've been here in Westminster now since 1981, which we did buy that house new there. It's a good project. We have an HOA, but I have not talked to the president about this. We have his phone. I have his phone number. But anyway, I just want to disapprove, for the city council or whoever's going to vote on it, I don't know if it's going to be a city vote or not. One of my friends, he has waste management. He's paying like $30 more a month than I am. That's one company, okay? That's a national company. I was just in Texas over the week, the last 7 days, and I went into waste management company over there. It's a big company. But it would be like, in my opinion, it'd be like a monopoly. I mean, that's a big word, okay, because that means that just one company's going to take over the trash service. That's not right. You'd be putting a lot of people out of work. Anyway, I have, name of the company I have is, it's, Best Cleaner Disposal. And that's a good company, and they're doing fine. They come every Thursday into Hidden Lake, and that's it. And that's it. And I want to thank you for listening, and take care.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes, sir, come on down.
And I'm in disagreement with looking for a major trash company, probably waste management. I had them for years. Currently, I know some people who still have waste management, and their bills run about $120 a quarter. I went with a small company, 30 employees total, family company. If you go with someone like Republic or Waste Management, you're going to put them out of business. They have no chance of getting the contract. They're great people. I pay $45 a quarter. And anybody who doesn't shop around, I'm sorry, we don't need the city to shop around. All you have to do is call, find out what they charge, and I'm not paying $120 like a lot of people. I'm paying $45. Yes, the city might get waste management to do the same thing, but this family organization, they'll go out of business. 30 people that you'll put out of business. So I hope you take that in consideration. People can shop around, and it doesn't take a lot to do it. A couple phone calls, Waste Management negotiated with them. We told them 2 other companies could charge me $45. Didn't even want to listen. Not at all. And one person. Hope you take that in consideration. Do go with one company. Put them out of business. I just don't think that's fair.
Saw a couple of other people kind of moving around. Do I have anyone else that wants to talk? Like, come on down, sir.
Daniel Cruz. I've lived here in Westminster since 74. And I've had the choice of doing whatever I want to do, who I want to use. Or monopoly is a word that's kind of the opposite of freedom of choice. If you guys monopolize this business, you're going to put a lot of people out of business. A lot of people have said the same thing. Okay? I don't think it's fair that you people even consider that, because small businesses have been what's kept Denver going all these years. It's not one big business doing it all for the city. So you guys are going to put a lot of people out of business. And once the business is corralled, what's to say that they're not going to up and up and up the charges? I can give you, for instance, I was with a company, I won't say who it was, but they kept doing that. They kept going up and up and up till they got up to $138 a month, or 3 months. So I shopped around. I started asking people. I pay for that same service $40 in 3 months. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but that's over 3 times as much as what I'm paying now. So why should I agree with what you guys want to consider? I think you guys are totally wrong. And I think that if you have any consideration for the populace, I think you should not even think about it.
Thank you, sir. Next person. Yes, ma'am.
I've lived in Westminster since 1976, and I was a waste management customer, and my bill kept going up higher and higher. And until it was $90, and same as the gentleman just a little while ago, they don't want to work with you. And I'm not going to pay $90 for them to come pick up one little trash can when I can have somebody do it for $40 and guarantee me that my price is going to stay there for 3 years. And I really think if you want to do recycle, do something different. We've got the firehouse where we can take our recycle. That's where I take mine. And I also feel like if you want to try something different, do like Denver, where Denver does have their own people to come. They stick to an amount of money. They do recycle. They do trash. They do large pickup. I don't want to deal with waste management. And if that's what you guys are going with, I think it's absolutely that you're not thinking about the little people. Thank you.
Ms. McCoy. Miss, before you sit down, would you come back and give us your address? I just need your address for the record.
9661 Lowell Court.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Come on down.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jerry Sanchez. I've lived in Westminster about 43 years, 9561 North Green Court. And I hate to pay a lot of money for throwing my trash. But if it has to go somewhere, I'll pay, but I'll try to cut the price where I have to. I've been paying about $46 to $49 a month to Best Cleaner Trash Company in Brighton. I'm sorry, every 3 months. And they do a great job. I don't have any problem with them. I've always stayed away from recycling. I don't know why I hated to recycle, because I had to pay extra to have someone pick it up, the trash company to pick up and get an extra trash can. But I just take mine to Sunset Ridge, where my kids went to school. And that's where I dump my recycling. They have a big dumpster. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that go and dump their recycling stuff there. But the thing is, it's just like Donald Trump. It's kind of like sending jobs to another country and not keeping the people that we have here employed and working and feeding their families. That's very important for them. What are they going to do? Get on the unemployment line? They need a job. If it was you in that situation, what would you do? You'd be mad if someone tried to get rid of your job. And if these big companies come and take over and they blow up and they get big, they're going to forget about us that we're paying low prices, and the sky's the limit for them. They're going to come up with all kinds of expenses that they have to keep up with, and they're going to have to, I'm sorry, I'm going over my time here.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. And they're going to take the jobs out of the people when all the expenses, and they're going to be filling up their bellies, and people are going to be starving, put it that way, or put them on unemployment line. What if you can't go on the unemployment line? Where are you going to make some money? You're going to go steal? You're going to go rob somebody? That's not right. We need the jobs that are here now and not try to eliminate them and get other companies that think they can do a better job. But now I recycle every time. I even get 2 or 3 bags sometimes. And I'll walk it's only about 3 blocks. And I'll have my grandkids like to go walking with me to recycle the stuff at the school. That's what it's all about. But if we have to pay $100, I'm not going to pay it. Maybe I should just pile up my trash in the front yard. If I can't afford it, I'm on disability. Is that an option? That might be an option for a lot of people, I'll tell you, if it gets to that point. Thank you very much for listening.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Mary Pilbin. I live at 6010 West 108th Avenue in Sheridan Green. My husband and I have lived in several communities around the country. And the one thing I will tell you is that Westminster is a particularly well-run community. So thank you for that. Of all the cities we've lived in around the country, this is a very nice place to land. We haven't been here that long, only since 2009. I will tell you, I'm looking at this from a practical point of view because we've been in cities that adopted what you're considering doing. It works either way. It depends on the price. I will tell you, I'm also with Best Cleaner, and I pay for curbside recycling. I've gotten spoiled. We sort of generate 3 times more recycling than we do trash. I like the curbside. We pay about $60 a quarter. We can put out 5 barrels of trash, which during leaf season is important. We have trees, so that's important. If you can match 5 barrels of trash and as much recycling as they can take for $60 a quarter, that's fine. We lived in a city that had the mechanized, trash thing that comes up and dumps. The question is, who's going to come in and clean up the trash all over the neighborhood on a day like we had today? We had trash pickup today. It was a windy day. They made sure trash didn't go anywhere. That's what you get when you have individuals doing it. When you have a mechanized sort of trash dumping system, you end up with trash all over the neighborhood, and individuals get to now go pick up the trash they thought they had thrown away. But, those are just other things to consider when you're considering this. I will say that I prefer non-mechanized to mechanized. One, for jobs. We are small businesses. We do shop locally. We don't try to always go to large retailers because we try to benefit the smaller businesses, since we are smaller businesses also. Not happy that Waste Management is on the list, since they saw fit to redomicile to the Bahamas several years ago. But other than that, thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Come on down.
My name's Angela Sanchez Almanza. Okay, thank you.
It works.
I live at 8641 Wagner Drive, Westminster, and I am against having one trash people picking up your trash. I had Waste Management, and I was married, and I paid a lot of money to pick up my trash, and then I got divorced, and I told them my situation. I had to get another job. I worked 2 jobs, and my money's very tight. And I told them that, and they would not work with me at all. So then I took matters in my own hands, and I started shopping around. And I found someone else who I pay less, and it works out a lot better for me because I'm on a budget, and I have a family I gotta support as well. And another thing is the company that pick up our trash, they do an excellent job. They always are there to pick up our trash on time. The other company, I'd have to call, how come you're not here? Oh, I don't know, they took the day off or whatever, but they don't come. So I really am happy with having the freedom and the right to pick up the people we need to pick up our trash, the people that we know are gonna do a good job. And the company before I had, they did not do a good job, and they didn't care with my situation. So I would like to keep the right to pick up who we want to pick up our trash, not have someone tell me who has to pick up our trash. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir. Come on down.
I'm Marion King. Live at 9425 Mead Street. Sent y'all an email earlier explaining my concerns. But I do love free enterprise. Encourage us to keep it.
Okay, anyone else? I want to make sure if you came tonight and you want to take the time to come, you want to provide comments, that we make sure you have that opportunity. Yes, sir. Come on down.
I came in here late, so I'm sorry. I was just trying to catch up with everybody.
Okay.
Good evening.
Your name and address.
My
please,
name is
sir.
Ruben Rivera. Address is 8824 Wagner. I'm kind of hearing what I heard on the podium here, and the one thing that I think really stands clear to me is when you take away competition like this, the service is gonna suffer. That's just how it is. You have somebody walk in here, basically you got yourself a monopoly. And these people can be as bad as they want. I love the opportunity to choose if somebody does not do what, and look, it's not about price as far as I'm concerned. If I have a company that is doing a fantastic job, I will pay the extra money. It's about having the choice to move to another person or to another business if you are not satisfied. And that's what it's really all about. You don't want to bring somebody in here where all of a sudden we are prisoners. And it sounds like, and I'm listening to the poor gal there from Wagner, holy smokes. I want the freedom to choose. Good, bad, or otherwise, I want to have my choice. And I've been in this city for almost all my life, 50 years. And I just was surprised that we were going down this road. And I agree with the lady, this is one of the best cities ran. It just, to me, it seemed out of character for us, is what I saw. I don't see it as something that's a Westminster thing, and that's mine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else? Again, I want to apologize for the miscommunication. Again, that was not anything that was put out by the city. What I will ask you to do is keep in touch with the city. You can do that through the website. So anything that's coming up where there will be a public hearing on this subject in the future will be advertised on the council agenda that's published on the city website every Wednesday, unless there is not a meeting on a Monday night coming up because of a holiday. Now, a good example will be this coming Monday. Because it's a holiday, there will not be a council meeting, so there will be no council agenda on the website this coming Wednesday. But a week from Wednesday, there will be. At the time that we hold the study session, you're more than welcome to come back, listen to the comments, and in the future, if it goes forward, then we would have a comment period open again to the public. And even if you want to come back and testify again, it will be open to everybody. But for now, I want to close the public comment period. Again, thank you for coming, taking your time, and sticking with us tonight. And again, I'm sorry about the miscommunication, and I hope you have a safe trip home. Okay, Council, you're welcome, sir. Let's move on to the next item, and this is a report of city officials, and Mr. Tripp, if you will.
Mayor and Council, just very briefly tonight, I want to point out in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of snow incidents. I think had excellent snow removal happen in our city. I think many of us had an opportunity over the holidays to drive in different jurisdictions during this time. It's very apparent when we came into the city of Westminster. I want to thank our crews over the last couple of snow events that we've had. They were right on the borderline of when we elect to plow in residential areas. I'm really glad we didn't. Mother Nature took care of most of that in the last couple of days, and we were able to save the taxpayers some money while really putting our attention to the arterials and some of the other things that we have in the city. So I want to thank our Public Works, Parks Recreation, our general operations folks in all areas for the work they did this snow. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tripp. Council, any comments? Mr. Canberra, you up first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I want to start by, wishing everybody a happy new year and by thanking you for being here today. To me, this is exactly what democracy looks like. And it's having everybody share their opinion and their concerns. I wanted to share with you a bit of the process that we're going through because as the mayor mentioned, there's a lot of miscommunication. That's the reality of what's going on. And first, if you've emailed me over the weekend and I haven't responded, I'm working on catching up on the emails. So please bear with me. I will be responding to you in the next couple days. But I wanted to let you know, so essentially what we're doing right now is we're doing research about this topic. No decision, and I want to repeat that, no decision has been made at all. And I want to quickly tell you what the process is. And the reason why we decided to research it, there's many reasons, and I'm sure Councilor Seitz will touch on all of them, so I know she's waiting for it, so I don't want to tell you everything. But one of the main reasons that made me want to learn more about the subject is that we were learning that there's what we're being told is that we have inequality going on in the city. if you're in an HOA, you have a good price and good services. And if you're in a non-HOA area, you pay a lot more prices. And it's way more expensive. That's what we're being told. So we said, you know what? I think we need to learn more about it. Outside of the environmental benefits, there was sort of this social economic justice component that made me personally want to learn more about it. So this is the research phase that we have. So we have three things. So one, it's community outreach events. So we've had a statistic valid survey take place, an open survey, 2 citizen focus group meetings, one-on-one meetings with interested haulers to discuss their concerns, and an open house for all interested parties. And I know we have Westy Connect, where many folks have been commenting. City staff has posted a request for a proposer to haulers to determine what types of service and pricing could be achieved if the city were to contract curbside trash and recycling for single-family homes. So that's been posted, and my understanding is that on February 13th, we'll learn more about the outcome of this RFP process. And so the idea is, once we get your input, so every email that you send us, the feedback that you provide here, anything that you post online, all of that, we're taking into account, as well as the RFP and all of the research that has been done by our city staff. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood the process, because we're being told that there are letters being sent out with non-factual information saying that we have already made a decision and that this is already going to be implemented, and that is not the case at all. So, and I also want to take a time to thank and welcome all of the new board members. I'm seeing some here today, and I just really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We know that you're all extremely busy, and the fact that you're gonna take, and that you already have, and that you're gonna start now taking time out of your very, very busy lives to serve on our boards, to make sure that we have the best advice possible to continue to provide the quality of services that we do, is really something that we're very grateful for. So thank you so much for being here today, and please email us more, call us, contact us. If we're slow in getting back, it's because we're getting a lot of emails lately, and we want to make sure that we're responding to all of them. So thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Sure, I just want to reiterate some of Councilor DeCambra's points, and that's, first of all, just to thank everybody for coming to the meeting tonight. I think it was Mr. V. Hill who mentioned it was his first time that he's been at one of these meetings, and I'm sure I suspect he's not the only one. And so we just want to say welcome and thank you very, very much for coming to express your opinion on this issue, because part of what makes Westminster great is we have such a passionate, dedicated residents in this city. We have people who care about what happens in Westminster, and that's exemplified by the full house that we had this evening. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody who took the time to come and give their opinion or just sit through the proceedings tonight, because your opinion is incredibly valuable and leads the decision making that we do up here. So thank you. I also wanted to commend the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. Brian Head came up here and talked about their hiring of the new president, and had a chance to read about it on the internet. Such an incredibly qualified president that's going to come in and lead the chamber. It was chosen from a pool of incredibly qualified applicants. And so it's really a testament to the incredible growth of that organization in just a few short years. They've become such a powerful voice for the business community in Westminster. And I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you. Thank you for what you do for Westminster, and congratulations on your overwhelming success so far. And I know with the new leadership coming in, that's just going to exponentially increase. So congratulations on a great job. And then finally, today is something called National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And I think we can all agree that probably every day should be National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. But for today, because that is what today, but for today's purposes, I just wanted to extend a very, very special thank you to our law enforcement officers, to our administrative staff, to our dispatchers, everybody who works to keep Westminster safe, everybody who sacrifices their time, sacrifices their energy, sacrifices their safety to make sure that our community is safe. I know a lot of us got to spend Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Day talking with officers and thanking them for working and being away from their families on these holidays. And we just appreciate all the incredible work that you do for our community. A lot of the problems that you see, a lot of the issues that you see in other jurisdictions, we don't have that here. What we have here is an incredibly respected police force. And something that just exemplified that to me, we have Eloy and Missy Garduno. You guys want to raise your hands over here? Every Friday, they go and take a care package to the Westminster Police Office. They go and they take snacks, goodies, drinks, all sorts of stuff, just a little sign of appreciation to show our officers how much their work means to them. Their son is a police officer in Denver, and we appreciate his service. I think they know that every single officer here could be their son, could be their daughter, is in the same position that their son is in, and that's why they take time out of their schedule every week to go and out of their own money to go and deliver a package to our police officers. And I know they are not the exception. There are so many people who go above and beyond to thank our officers, and that's because of the respect that our officers have in our community. I just wanted to say thank you to them. Thank you to Eloy and Missy for what you do. And on this National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, just say how much we as a council and we as a city truly do appreciate your service.
So I'll be brief. Thank you all for making time to come out tonight. I know not everybody has a bunch of free time, and so deciding to share some of that with us is really appreciated. And I know that the trash issue is it's a complicated issue, and it's one that people feel very passionately about. And I'm glad you came and that you're sharing with us what you think. I want you to know we are listening. So please stay engaged with this issue. We are trying to gather information. I want to assure each and every one of you our goal is to make the best decisions for our residents here in Westminster. You are our priority. That is why we're here. So I do want to point out on Westminster's website, we do have a link that describes the inquiry that our city has made so far, the work that we've already done. There's also a layout of why we're even asking the questions. I know that some of you have expressed dismay over, wow, why are you even asking this? So please look at this link. You'll get a lot more information, and it'll just give you a broader understanding of why we even are asking the question, more than we can convey up here tonight. So please look there and stay engaged in this issue, because as we get information, you should have the same information that we're looking at, so you understand what we're even looking at. And when we ultimately vote on this, you will see what we were basing our voting decisions upon. So please look at that. If I could quote the website, it's cityofwestminster.us. And you'll look there. There should be a headline that says trash and recycling services. So please look there. Again, thank you for coming out. Happy New Year. And I hope you'll come back and let us know what you think about other things going on too.
Yes, thank you. And I want to echo some of my comments, my fellow counselors, and just elaborate a little bit more. I asked today because I was kind of curious the history of trash licensing in the city. And it turns out we have been issuing and reviewing licenses in this city since 1957, which means that this has been part of the process for decades and decades and decades to sort of review how and why we issue licenses to trash haulers. And as staff and our Environmental Advisory Board brought up some concerns about the limited functionality of our recycling centers that we do pay for, and as one of our public comment gentlemen pointed out, that when the city pays for something, we all pay for it. And those are kind of reaching the end of their useful life and need to either be rehauled, reinvested, or completely transformed at probably significant expense. And when facing a significant expense of that type, it encouraged us to look at all the options available. So in 2016, we put a question on our citizen survey that said, would residents be in favor of offering more curbside recycling, even included in their trash bill, even if it cost a little bit more? And 82% of our residents said they were in favor of such a change. That gave us a little bit more encouragement that this was worth investigating. And so we continue to do so. We do have staff looking into cost-benefit analysis right now. We should be hearing back, I believe it's February 13th, learning a little bit more. We'll probably, knowing this council, ask even more questions and learn even a little bit more. And I encourage all of you to stay engaged throughout that process. And, you know, this is the beginning of a new year. And if the
I know we're talking a lot of trash tonight, but if you have other issues that you find important for this city, we are still listening. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of things. We're a very vibrant chamber. Congratulations again. Watching you guys grow from an idea to a full-fledged chamber with paid staff has been really inspirational over the past few years, so thank you for doing that work. A lot of really fantastic growth in this city. Please stay engaged.
Baker.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to reinforce what, the city manager said, because we did have great city services during the snowstorm. That was the fire, that was the police, that was the road grader. Made a difference. It's also outstanding to have our partner, but my other comments that I wish to make tonight, I've gone ahead and put on tape because I use crutch words speaking. I can cut a minute this out by putting it on tape.
To this council's attention, the program called It's on Us. It's on Us began on college campuses. It's on Us aims to change the way society and our culture deals with sexual assault. The plain fact is that American culture has poorly dealt with sexual assault. The victims were and are still afraid to come forward and tell what happened to them. Today, only 1 in 8 survivors comes forward. Only 1 in 50 victims that were incapacitated at the time of the attack comes forward. Society invents excuses to make believe that the attack did not happen. It is easier to say there must have been a miscommunication or that a party changed their mind after the fact than to confront the reality that sexual assault is a crime of violence, intimidation, and remorseless power. Making the situation even worse is the betrayal of previously trusted friends or partners, because 8 of 10 victims knows their attacker. The harm from the attack does not end quickly. 40% of the survivors fear reprisal from their attacker. Medical aid needs to be given in a timely manner, immediately if possible, and the victim should be monitored and given follow-up care. And this is not a problem that will be solved by police or courts. Addressing these crimes after the fact is too little, too late. The problem will only be addressed by fixing what is broken in our society and expecting everyone to help. Indeed, everyone must help. Here is what It's on Us challenges everyone to do. 1, recognize that non-consensual sex is sexual assault. 2, identify situations in which sexual assault may occur. 3, intervene in situations where consent has not or cannot be given. 4, create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported. Understanding how society got to this state of affairs is important because it is only society, all of us, that will make change come about. Fighting against those changes are strong attitudes and undercurrents. Those forces restrain people from enthusiastically supporting sexual assault laws. Those forces are from our bygone past, a time when we were willfully oblivious to the harm being done. It was a mere 40 years ago that marital rape was finally recognized as a crime in the United States. Old attitudes die slowly. Even today, we hear those attitudes that hide in the dark corners of our society. They have no sympathy for the victims of sexual assault. Those attitudes blame the victims for their sexual assault rather than the perpetrators. Remember the sad individual that thought a woman's body could reject a pregnancy from what he termed a legitimate rape? And that person occupied one of the very highest positions within our society. It's on Us is right on target in their approach to addressing sexual assault. We all must obey the law support the law. Be smart about situations, intervene if possible, and encourage everyone in society to do the same. It is only by obeying the law that we will keep full value of the wonderful place we are. Americans take for granted the safe, secure, prosperous, imaginative, respect-filled, liberty-filled place we have. I don't think most of us have stopped to consider why Americans have those benefits. I've stopped to consider the question. I say we are this wonderful place because the overwhelming majority of Americans voluntarily obey the law. American government doesn't need machine gun-toting police on every street corner to enforce the law. American government doesn't have legions of secret police spying and sneaking around to enforce the law. Americans enforce the law on ourselves because we respect the law. So why do Americans respect and obey the law when all around the world and throughout history, people hate the law, avoid the law, and cheat the law? I think it is because Americans view the law as a shield that protects us instead of a weapon that hurts us. I made this observation years ago. I truly feel our unshakable knowledge of our safety under the law is a key to our success. I think it's on us, and I share the same view of the law. Sexual assault laws are not weapons that hurt Americans. Sexual assault laws are a shield that protects Americans. When we are all convinced that non-consensual sex is breaking the law, and when we are knowledgeable about when and where these crimes occur, and when we find the courage to intervene if possible, and when we create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and the victims are supported, we will have a better America. Moreover, this is true of all breaking of the law, whether big laws like murder or small laws like shoplifting. When we are convinced that shoplifting is a crime and is breaking the law, when we are smart about where those crimes occur, when we find the courage to intervene, when we create an environment in which shoplifting is unacceptable, we will have a better America. And that's true with robbery and fraud and embezzlement and being unlawfully present in the United States. Just 4 weeks ago, in my comments to City Council, I was making the same point about obeying the law that It's on Us makes about obeying the law. Unfortunately, several of my colleagues did not hear what I said. It was as if they had heard some of the words I said, but did not understand the content contained in those words. Now, part of that non-communication was caused by the example of law breaking that I highlighted. My colleagues are afraid to approach the crime of being unlawfully present in the United States. Part of that fear stems from the fact that for the crime of being unlawfully present in the United States, there is no sympathetic victim to which we can point. If there was a distinct individual victim, that victim and their injuries would provide a point of focus we all could grasp. But the victims of people that are unlawfully present in the United States, while many in number, have no obvious injuries which the media can showcase. Their stories of loss and displacement are difficult to quantify. Their hurting is minimized and ignored. Instead of talking about the real harm to victims of people unlawfully in the United States, my colleagues chose to talk about being a welcoming community. How odd. I do not think for a second that my colleagues would be welcoming to perpetrators of sexual assault. I think my colleagues join me in all efforts to prevent sexual assaults from happening, eliminating any place in which the assaults happen, intervening to prevent or stop an assault whenever possible, promoting an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable, and supporting the victims of sexual assault. So I ask my colleagues, if you would never be welcoming to rapists or murderers or bank robbers, why would you be welcoming to people unlawfully present in the United States? Let me draw into sharper focus the crime of being unlawfully present in the United States. Our society and culture continuously minimizes the crime. The media paints this crime as a trivial infraction, but it is not. People unlawfully present in the United States are taking something to which they are not entitled. They are taking the rights, opportunities, and privileges of citizens and lawful immigrants in the United States. Rights, privileges, and opportunities are very valuable assets. A person that takes assets to which they are not entitled and without the permission of the owner is a thief. People unlawfully present in the United States are engaging in the conduct of thieves. We should and must hold these thieves accountable for their conduct. Holding people accountable for their conduct is the foundation of human civilization. Without holding individuals accountable for their conduct, our society cannot function. How could friendship survive if accountability was not required? Indeed, every relationship, be it marriage or employment or parenting or buying and selling or contracts, and every promise ever made requires accountability. And the first step in holding people accountable is they must stop their law-breaking conduct. Just like the first step for It's on Us to stop sexual assaults is to prevent those assaults from happening, the first step for people unlawfully present in the United States is to remove them from the United States. Just like stopping sexual assault is everyone's responsibility, removing undocumented people from the United States is everyone's responsibility. The oddest part of the situation is that removing a person unlawfully present in the United States is no more harmful to that lawbreaker than is preventing a sexual assault is to the would-be rapist. The steps and recommendations provided by It's on Us can serve as our example. 1, recognize that people being unlawfully present in the United States is a crime. 2, identify situations in which these people reside or work or interact with any level of government. 3, intervene as individuals and especially as government and inform federal authorities. 4, create an environment where being unlawfully present in the United States is unacceptable. To make that transformation within our society begins with dialogue. Now, one of my colleagues asserted that each council person's ability to make comments during our meeting is dialogue. It is not. Our comments are a monologue. And if this were a theatric setting, our comments would be a soliloquy. Or in an academic setting, they would be a lecture. And to some people, I am sure, my comments sound like a harangue. But counselor comments are not a dialogue. To have a dialogue, it takes two parties. Two parties that truly care about each other and that value and respect the other person. To have a dialogue means both parties must be present in the conversation. To have a dialogue means both parties must be willing to listen and to hear what is attempted to be said in spite of the clumsy words or awkward examples that may be chosen to illustrate a point. Indeed, I say dialogue is every council person's first job. Dialogue with voters, dialogue with residents, dialogue with business people, dialogue with visitors, dialogue with shoppers, and most importantly, dialogues with the other counselors. If dialogue was not our first job, why did our city charter desire 7 members for council? Government is far easier when all power is under one person's hand. In fact, council chooses a city manager just for that reason. One person that moves ahead the decisions made and the ideas that council has. One person with the power to make the trade-offs required to bring ideas to life. One person to stand accountable for the choices that were made. Now, my requirement for dialogue in the city charter is unspoken. It is an unspoken requirement because, in my opinion, the authors of the charter could not, even for a moment, think that council members would refuse dialogue. Only arrogant, selfish, disrespectful people would not engage in dialogue with their fellow elected officials. The authors of our charter, being very shrewd and experienced people, knew that even with dialogue, the council may not be of one mind. And so they provided a way for council to move forward to overcome any disagreement that might remain. The way forward is majority rule. Now, majority rule is not always right, but it is a way forward. Indeed, majority rule is the cause of our present situation and conflict. It was the majority rule election of a new president in 2016 that set things into motion. As many of my colleagues has pointed out, it was after that election that the anxiety level and fear level for many people rose. It was to address the anxiety and fear that the issue of how Westminster police interact with people unlawfully present in the United States became a topic. Unfortunately, this council decided to duck the issue. We have attempted to push the issue away from ourselves and onto our employees. Instead of standing up, taking authorship and responsibility with an openly passed official policy, we let stand an anonymous and ambiguous procedure. We let stand procedures that can best be described as giving a wink and a nod to people breaking the law. I do not think for a minute that the published procedure is not the responsibility of this council. Only instead of being made in an open and transparent fashion, it was crafted and implemented years ago in a clever, coercive manner. Westminster police knew their jobs were on the line unless they twisted themselves to the discreetly expressed wishes of council. Well, the connected and powerful made this procedure behind closed doors. However, even more reprehensible is what this procedure has told our residents and police. This council, like a group of drug-selling gangbangers in some decaying eastern city, has allowed to be said, no snitching. That's right, no snitching. Government telling people that no snitching is allowed and implicitly threatening anyone who would. Would this council say no snitching on sexual predators? Would this council say no snitching on shoplifters? So why do we say no snitching on people unlawfully present in the United States? We say this about people unlawfully present in the United States because the connected and powerful are exploiting those people. And the existence of those people unlawfully present allows the connected and powerful to exploit American citizens and legal immigrants too. The abundance of labor keeps wages down. The excess of people drives housing prices up. Well, the connected and powerful are the employers and mega property owners among us. And these connected and powerful people are the economic winners of a no-snitching policy when it comes to people unlawfully present in the United States. The Westminster City Council is not a social club. I did not seek election to expand my circle of friends. I sought election and I consider my election as a charge to engage in the difficult but necessary dialogues that serve the citizens of Westminster and further the city's interests. Now, I cannot compel my colleagues to join in dialogue, but I can and I will bring to the public's attention what I consider to be errors on the part of City Council. I can and will make every effort to activate the public to convince my colleagues to live up to the values of open and transparent government. And I still have faith in the sleeping integrity of my colleagues. I still believe that my colleagues can move beyond their fears and find the courage to live up to their best values. I will continue to offer dialogue to my colleagues. I will do everything possible to bring better government to Westminster. Government that ignores lawbreakers is dishonest. Government that tells its citizens and police no snitching is reprehensible. Government that selectively enforces our laws is corrupt. I do not want Westminster to be a dishonest, reprehensible, corrupt government.
And of the thank you for your time from my colleagues and the mayor. I hope you better know how I feel about the topic and how it directly impacts what we do as a council. Thank you very much.
Sites, I know you're next up in the agenda, but we've had a request for a short bio break. Mind holding your comments for a few minutes?
Would it be possible to do like a 30-second comment? Because clearly I'm not going to do comments now. It's an hour and a half into our meeting.
Well, I've had 2 requests, and they've been waiting for quite a while. So
Okay.
would you please hold your comments
Okay.
until we come back? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to offer a short bio break to the council members since we've been here for several hours. So I apologize for the delay. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
voices to our decision-making process as far as how best we can improve trash and recycling options here in Westminster. I think the mayor very early in the meeting noted that there had been misinformation on a flyer that was sent out that stated tonight we were talking about this as a council. And I would like to add that that was not the only bit of misinformation that has been circulated. One of our speakers mentioned fear of change driving people's emotions. And I would say that if I had received the same flyer and wasn't in the know, I also would be fearful. It listed multiple communities stating that they have single hauler and listing rates that were exorbitantly expensive, much, much more than I pay now. And those communities, first off, don't have single hauler. They all have an open market system. What they do have are requirements that say you must recycle, not you must offer it, but you actually must recycle. And so without having collective contracting, without having free market competition to answer a bid and give the best possible price, those communities have seen rates increase. We're looking for options here that will hopefully lower rates to residents and improve services. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But we've been told by both our Citizen Environmental Advisory Board, by our citizens in a statistically valid survey multiple times, that this is something they'd like to see us improve. And this isn't a rare thing for government to get involved in. Most communities regulate trash in some level. And in fact, Westminster is a complete laggard in this area. This is low-hanging fruit where we might be able to lower the wear and tear on our streets. We might be able to lower prices and improve our recycling. So I feel that as a city councilwoman, I'm not doing my job if I don't at least explore it. Hearing everyone come here tonight and tell us your prices is so valuable because it gives us data points and it makes us certain that we're not going to make things worse for you, that we're really achieving our aim, making sure that we're trying to make things better. But we're going to have a lot more community input once we get the data. The data isn't even out there yet. So a lot of people, it sounded like they thought it was a foregone conclusion how we were going to structure it, that it would be a single hauler. We're looking at so many combinations of ways to do it, whether it's districting. Each of the haulers has met with our city staff so that we could get their input. And the RFP itself is really a true request for proposal rather than a quote. We're not being prescriptive saying we want this type of service, what is the best rate? We're saying these are our goals, how do we get there? Giving a huge combination of options. So we will see on February 13th, it'll be the first time that we get to look at the data, but I'll tell you what our goal is fundamentally is to serve our residents, as Councilor Byrd said. That's our goal, that's our aim, that is who we care about. And I wanna make sure that working families who live in Westminster, who don't live in an HOA, don't pay 3 times as much as someone who lives in an HOA. I'd like to see I'd like to see people have more money in their checkbook at the end of the month. And so if we can just explore what we're doing and seeing if there's a way to improve, I'm for that. And I'd ask everyone for just patience. We're not going to ram anything down anyone's throat, but we at least want to explore it and make sure we're doing the right thing by our residents. So thank you for coming. It helps inform us. I'd ask you to keep coming, keep an open mind, and actually look at the data as it comes out. With that being said, all of you have been here so long already, and I just really appreciate it. I'm going to cut my comments short for tonight.
Okay, that being the end of the council comment period, we'll move on to the business of the agenda tonight. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. It's a group of routine matters to be acted on with a single motion and vote. We have determined prior to the meeting tonight, we have one item that's been requested to be removed from the council agenda or the consent agenda. That is item 8E. That will be dealt with as a separate motion. This time I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Mr. Baker.
We thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that really City Council remove from the table the item listed on our agenda as 8G, second reading of Councilor Bills number 51, RE Strasburg Natural Resource Farm leases.
There's Ms. Byrd.
Second.
Okay. That way. Request for this to be removed as a short vote, so if you would just vote yes or no on your pieces, and we'll record those. I have a unanimous vote to remove item 8G from the table. We will now entertain a motion to deal with the rest of the consent agenda. Baker, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that, the city council adopt, the consent agenda, items 8A, 8B, 8C, 8D, 8F, and 8G.
Ms. Byrd,
Second.
all those in favor of the motion, please move forward the voting with your machines, please. We have a 7-0 vote. I will entertain a motion at this point for item 8E. Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Mayor, based on the recommendation of the city manager, I move that city council finds that the public interest will be best served by ratifying the negotiated expenditure with Pro Force Law Enforcement, a sole source provider of TASER International equipment, in an amount not to exceed $61,995.40, as ordered December 29th, 2016, with attached quote 340515.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Ms. Pinter, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment since this was pulled off the consent agenda. We had some great feedback from our police chief, and he's always done a lot of research and been very careful with our resources, and this is something that our police force needs, our officers need, to be safe, current, and modern in the work that we're doing, and we're happy to support them.
There are no other comments. I would ask you at this point to go ahead. Cast your votes, please. On the motion carries on a vote of 6-1. Next item on the agenda will be the resolution for number 1 for the appointments and resignations of council members. Okay, Ms. Seitz, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt resolution number 1, reappointing regular boards and commission members whose terms of office expired December 31st of 2016 to an additional 2-year term. Appoint regular members to 2-year terms to expire December 31st, 2018 to fill vacancies. And appoint alternate members to terms expiring December 31st of 2017 or 2018 respectively.
Second, Ms. Pinter.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. There's discussion. Ms. DeCambra.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say that I'm going to have to recuse myself from voting. One of the person that's going to be appointed made a donation to my campaign, and in transparency, I would like to excuse myself from voting.
Is there any objection from any member of council? Okay, Mr. Cameron, no objection. You may recuse yourself. Ms. Seitz, go ahead.
I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank all of those that applied for our boards and commissions. We had such a deep, talented applicant pool this time. And one of the goals that we have as a council is to have a vibrant and engaged city. And this is one area that I can tell that we're hitting the mark. For all of those that were not appointed for a board or a committee appointment this time, you're still in the pool. It was very difficult. We had so many people applying for such a few number of positions. So thank you.
Mr. Garcia.
I just want to echo what Ms. Councilor Seitz just stated. When we have these board and commission interviews once a year, it just blows my mind the incredibly qualified people who apply to serve on our boards and commissions. We are truly fortunate in Westminster that we have people who want to be involved in the city. And to the people who are on our boards and commissions, we say thank you very much for for agreeing to continue to serve. And for those who are joining for the first time, welcome, welcome and thank you. Thank you for sacrificing your time. I know everybody has jobs, you have family, you have so many other commitments you can make, and you're choosing to spend your time helping our city and helping the board that you're on. I just want to say thank you very much for doing that.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for everyone who applied and everyone who's going to serve on our boards. Our board's doing a tremendous amount of work, whether it's our license board, which is a legally separate entity that approves licenses in the city, our planning commission, our inclusivity, our task force. God bless them. They're setting up our review of our building codes and adopting new building codes. This is detailed and complex work, and I just want to thank everyone who has stepped forward to volunteer for one of these potential positions. Also wanted to say thank you to everyone who applied. Volunteers give so much value, not just in their spirit, but also tangibly. I think the last time I heard it calculated, it was well over $1 million in tangible value given to the city by the volunteer hours committed by over 1,000 volunteers, whether it's volunteering here or with our police department or Parks and Rec or libraries, wherever you volunteer in the city, your impact is felt, appreciated, and very needed. So thank you for your time.
Any other comments? This time we'll move forward. Those who will on this cast your votes. This is just a resolution, so it will be a roll call vote.
Atchison,
Yes.
Baker, Bird,
Yes.
DeCambra,
Abstain.
Garcia,
Yes.
Pinter,
Yes.
Sites.
Yes.
Vote is 6 no. I have 1 abstention. It was approved by council. 6 yes, no no's. All right, next item on the agenda will be item 10A.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
did we ever deal with item 8F? Oh, yeah, we did.
We
Of course,
did.
Alberto did it. I'm sorry. Mayor Protem, I
Yeah,
apologize.
he did it.
I was
Ms.
trying to keep
Byrd.
track.
Go ahead.
Yes, I move to adopt resolution number 2, authorizing the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department to pursue a grant from the Great Outdoors Colorado Schoolyard Initiative Grant Program in partnership with Jeffco Public Schools during the 2017 cycle in the amount of $110,000 to assist with the design and construction of the Lucas Elementary Playground renovation project.
Ms. Burt, Ms. Pinter.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and up for discussion. Ms. Sights. Okay. Any other comments from council? Okay, this is a resolution. This will again be a roll call vote.
Baker, Bird,
Yes.
DeCambra,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Pinter,
Yes.
Sites,
Yes.
Atchison.
Yes. And I'm missing one. Oh, okay. Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Next item up will be item 10B. Mr. Garcia.
Oh, I just left my thing on, but I'll do it.
Well, your light came up.
All right. Mr. Mayor, I move based on the recommendation of the city manager to sign a lease purchase agreement with UMB Bank in substantially the same form as presented to council in the amount not to exceed $492,718, inclusive of financing fees estimated to be $3,000.
We have a second? Okay,
Second.
Okay, Ms. Sights, second. Is there any discussion by council? Not seeing any. Please cast your ballots. Okay, I'm still missing one. There we go. Okay. All right, motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Mr. Garcia, if you would be.
Mr. Mayor, I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 1 on first reading, appropriating proceeds of $492,718 in lease financing and $274,950 in equipment sales to fund the purchase of replacement golf carts and utility vehicles at the Legacy Ridge Golf Course and the Heritage Golf Course at Westmore.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sites. Any discussion by any member of council? Ms. Pinter?
I just want to again thank staff for their diligent effort to make sure that we got a really good value and that this is going to be a value add to our city and that this is a really economical choice for what we need to do to run our golf courses. So thank you.
If there are no other comments, this is a roll call vote.
Bird,
Yes.
DeCambra,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Pinter,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes.
Atchison,
Yes.
Baker.
Have all votes in. Motion is carried on a 7-0 vote. Garcia.
Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with the low bidder, Mesa Golf Cars of Colorado, in the amount of $802,557 for the purchase of the following: 133 golf carts, 4 player assistant carts, 2 utility carts, 1 6-passenger shuttle cart, 2 range picker turf carts, 2 5-gang picker units, 2 ball picker gang units, and GPS cart control, contingent on passage of Councilor's Bill number 1 on second reading.
Mr. Canberra?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Ms. Sights? None? Okay. Everybody's still in training. It's okay. All those in favor of the motion for item, please signify with a vote of your light. All votes are in. I have a 7-0 passage of the item. Mr. Garcia, last one, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move, based on the report of the city manager, that the city council finds that the public interest would best be served by accepting the bid for 2 beverage carts from Colorado Golf and Turf and award the bid to Colorado Golf and Turf for the amount of $32,779 for 2 beverage carts, contingent on passage of Councilor's Bill number 1 on the second reading.
Is there a second? Ms. Pinter, thank you. Is there any discussion by council? All those in favor of the motion as presented, please cast your ballots. And we have a 7-0 vote on the item. Okay, next item up will be old business and passage of council bill on second reading. This is moved to pass council's bill number 52. Ms. Pinter.
Yes, sir. I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 52 on second reading for an ordinance adopting a new Chapter 15 in Title 11 of the Westminster Municipal Code concerning construction defect claims associated with condominiums and townhomes.
Ms. Byrd.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the second reading? Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As when it came to first reading, I opposed this bill because this bill is a balancing act, and I think we have taken too much from the people in the future who will live in these really communities, taken too much from their HOA boards, and I do not believe that it's going to yield the benefit to us today, so I will be voting again against it.
Okay. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Barker.
DeCambra, Garcia,
Yes.
Pinter,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes.
Atchison,
Yes.
Baker, Bird.
Yes.
Motion carries on a 6-1 vote. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break your hearts, but that ends the evening's business. We are adjourned. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for coming tonight.